I want to start off by saying Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahawashi, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahawashi. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Ba'ashim Makak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that told me this doctrine and truth and sincerity. Shalom, shalom to the elect. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. Ba'ashim in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. We know His name to be Yahawashi, which means He is the deliverer. He is the Savior for the Hebrew Israelites from the pedigree of your father. Ba'ashim in the name of the Ruach HaKodesh, which means the Holy Spirit that's able to give us the knowledge and understanding of who we are, which are the Hebrew Israelites. Princes of the power, Yasha Allah, sons of the promise, and to be able to know who our adversary is, which is Esau, Edom. Esau means wasted away he is. They are the biblical Edomites, okay? And the Greek Idumeans, right? The modern day Assyrian, the modern day Chaldean. They are the wicked that it speaks about in the scriptures that will have the fatness of the earth in the latter days and will have a great sword. And that great sword comes in many different variations, right? One of them, as you see on the screen, their media, right? Which goes back to sorcery and witchcraft, where they're able to push forth their fear-mongering and their propaganda to have the masses of people, bow down to their image, the image of the beast. That's ultimately what all this is about, to have everyone linked up through the charagma, which is something that's inserted inside of you, to have you linked up to their technology where you will be a perpetual slave. Okay? And that's the wicked's agenda. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, through Yahawashi HaMashiach, being that perfect lamb, the elect, the remnant is being woken up to this truth. That's why it says, blessed are your eyes for you see and your ears for you hear. Means you're out of gross darkness, because we're in the valley of shadow of death. Babylon goes back to Babel, which goes back to confusion. America goes back to Amar, which goes back to bitter. And we're in a bitter, confused state when they have to constantly run enchantments, through the television, use their government to pass legislation. And government means mind control. Pass certain legislation to have them, benefit off the poor, which are the Hebrew Israelites. If you're so-called Negro, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, or other speckled bird looking like the other nations, and your spirit bear witness with this doctrine, you could be one of the elect. Shalom. Again, we went off following after false gods and false idols, not following the law, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by our forefathers, and we were sent into captivity. Okay, and we're still in captivity. But through Yahawashi HaMashiach, we have a comforter through this word. And these words are comforting. Through thy precepts I get understanding. We're able to know, again, who our enemy is, which is a miracle. And we're able to know who we are and what we have to do to be able to have salvation. And one of them is, once you learn this truth, is to expose Esau, Edom, for who he is, which is the self-proclaimed white man, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, the Soros. These are elite banksters that, again, have the fatness of the earth and have that great sword. And they're the ones that are pushing what you call Operation Mockingbird, deep state control of the media, CIA media manipulation. Okay? And this came out a long time ago, but now it's coming back out. It says 3/18/2022. So real quick, let's look up the word manipulation. Manipulation, an action of manipulating. It says the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner. Okay, so what is their skillful manner? They have the think tanks where they're able to have professionals be able to, push forth their agenda. For one of the things that they do is the GMO foods. When you see in their media, they see the, on television, you always see a wicked Jake, with the big ass burger, right, with a bunch, and then they have to add bacon on it. Okay, whatever that it is, they're always pushing the abomination, showing you that it's Esau, Edom in control. The wicked is in control, right? So going down, it says the action of manipulating someone in a clever or unscrupulous way. So again, that's exactly what Esau Edom does to the masses of people. He uses a thing called order out of chaos, which is order out of chaos in the Latin, to be able he'll have something happen, say a storm. Okay, there'll be a storm, and then what he'll do is he'll go in there and act, hey, with the Red Cross trying to help out people, and then what he'll do is he'll take all the funds and meanwhile put you in these internment camps and separate you from your children. Okay, so everything that he does is to be able to profit himself, and he does it in a unscrupulous way. Okay, very clever, because again, Esau Edom is a clever hunter. Okay, and what is he hunting down? The people, the poor, which are the Hebrew Israelites. All right, so we got that word manipulation. It says America Media Group Telegram channel. Everything you okay? So it says notice most of the news channels are saying the same thing, exact same thing. The Operation Mockingbird was created by the CIA to weaponize news outlets against the general public. You're being programmed. Further proof the lamestream media is controlled by one entity and could be trusted as a reliable source. Question everything. So again, the entity is the wicked, as it speaks about in the scriptures, Proverbs 29:2. Right? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, the people beareth rule. Let me get that actually real quick, because that's who's in control right now. Because I misquoted that. I don't know. I actually want to get two scriptures. Let's see. Proverbs 29:2. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Yeah, and so that's what people are doing right now. They're mourning because they don't have the righteous are not in authority. Okay, which are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, under Yahawashi, under Yahawashi. Okay, so and the wicked, what are they doing? They're pushing forth an agenda, which is the Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order, to have everyone, one world government, one world currency, everyone linked up to these smart cities. Okay, and they're all doing it by propaganda. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So they're coming, just like they did a couple years ago with that thing that came out, right? What did they do? They came with something else to be able to help. Meanwhile, what did it do? It did the complete opposite. Again, bitter for sweet. Okay. So going back to the article, says Operation Mockingbird indicates the CIA's involvement in the manipulation of news published of the United States across the world. Today, one identifies such manipulation as fake news. Operation Mockingbird commonly refers to the CIA's involvement in the journalism during the 1970s. The CIA are bribed by students as well as established journalists and reporters to write CIA version of events. Senator Frank Church established the Church Committee in order to investigate government operations and potential abuses. The CIA admitted their manipulation of mainstream media in order to change the American people's mind. They published The Family Jewels, the idea of a large organization controlling the minds and thoughts of individuals, pushing them towards a specific ideology and certain life choices. Yeah, so one thing, what are the life choices? Man on man, woman on woman, Transformers. You got a book called the ABCs, but they're using basically sex acts to be able to push forward to the little kids. Okay, then they have the Transformers teaching the children about sex ed. Okay, so that's the one way. And then whenever you look at the TV, you're always seeing a man on man, woman on woman kissing each other. You constantly see that. And then even in public. Okay, what do you see on the hip hop? The celebrities, you see them in men in dresses. Then you see the women, in suits, okay? And always some show. It might be a good show. You watch it a little bit, and then I guarantee if it's not like season 2 or season 3, you watch the first season, you're like, it's a good show. Next thing you know, there'll be some activities in there, okay? And that's all on your mind, these enchantments. It says may seem as science fiction or as absurd conspiracy that can be found in books and movies. So conspiracy actually goes back to 2 or more conspiring to do something. Okay, and that's what Esau Edom is actually doing. They're conspiring in these think tanks to be able to push forth these certain agendas because they know it creates a depopulation. They have a thing called Georgia Guidestones, which in the the whole world there's like 7.7 billion people. Okay, and they want to bring it down to 500 million. Okay, and how do they do that? By creating these germ games, by having man on man, woman on woman. They have these the heart machines. They have the gun violence. That's why Babylon the Great is they're like the number one place for guns. Okay, to be able to eliminate a lot of the people. Why do you think they have the GMO foods? All the fast food restaurants. That's all to Esau Edom is known as death. It says it is certainly not a new surprising discovery that the corporations, organizations, and politicians manipulate public opinion in order to fit certain agendas. These are in their turn manipulated by even bigger, more powerful organizations such as the government itself. So again, we know the government's controlled by Esau Edom. Okay, the remnant of Edom, the elect of Edom on the left hand side. They are the true wicked. They're the ones that are actually running these cult of personalities, right? The CIA controlling and manipulating civilians' minds. It's not fiction. It's conspiracy turned out to be true. During the 1970s in the USA, following the Second World War, the Central Intelligence was able to gain control over what was being published, not only in the USA, but more in general across the globe, exerted much influence over that the public should be allowed to see what should be concealed. In essence, it ruled what public law saw, heard, and read a regular bias or basis. It says Operation Mockingbird is a United States CIA campaign that aimed not only to influence the media but also infiltrate it. Yeah, the CIA is in everything, and again, that's ran by the elites. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts. It's ran by them. And they're able to basically have a lot of people sell out. They'll gain certain information or knowledge on somebody, and what do? They'll blackmail them. Okay. Since the 1950s, the CIA started recruiting journalists, editors, and students in order to write, promulgate false stories. The CIA stories were entirely propaganda. So let's go into that word propaganda. It says propaganda is dissemination of information, facts, or arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies to influence public opinion. Okay, a lot like what's going on over there in the Ukraine with the Zelensky guy. You have him dressing up in a drag. You have him being an actor. Then they're promoting him to be his shows to come back, the old shows that he did. Okay, that's a cult of personality. They're portraying him as this good guy. Okay, and also he's he's part of the synagogue of Satan. The small hats. Okay, so he's got a lot of stuff going on as far as things, and we know that he's just a puppet. Okay, because what did they do? They made Ukraine all central, all it's like a digital currency. Okay, and they're paying people basically if they don't go to, if they were in the war, like a universal basic income type of thing over there. I think it's called the DIA. And then they have the URHs where they're paying people to, if they're in a war. Okay. It says distinguish propaganda from casual conversation or free and easy exchange of ideas. So again, to influence the public opinion. Okay, if they're saying that there's a war over there, people just believe it because they're just watching the regular news, right? But again, the news is being controlled by these elites. The Central CIA managed to control both national and international newspapers through a bribe During the 50s, Cord, Meyer, and Allen Dulles organized a propaganda outreach program. They recruited leading American journalists into network in order to promulgate the CIA's views. Okay. So just like they do with Jake, they'll portray, they portray a drug dealer when Esau Edom is the true drug dealer, through these movies. They'll give you an image on the TV. They'll show shootings and killings, but they won't show the shootings and killings of the so-called white man. Okay. And it's all imagery. You had in 1994 when Bill Clinton passed the crime bill. You had Joe Butthead in there, and he was saying that, calling us beasts. I don't care where they came from or why they act like this. See, Esau Edom is the oppressor. He's that rod of that anger. He is that accuser of thy brethren. It says, however, could manipulate public opinion arose in 1972, 1974 due to Watergate scandal, which exposed President Nixon's involvement in the war in Vietnam. Yeah, because when they were over there in these countries, what were they doing? They were over there getting drugs, opiates. Okay, what are they? They're always, whenever they go to these countries and they say they want a war, they're always being covetous. They always want something that's not theirs. Okay, and also says in Habakkuk, they enlarge themselves as hell, and they bring forth death, roughly paraphrasing. But what they do is they go to these other nations and try to take them over, and they always want their resources, whatever that it may be, whether it's gold, oil, and drugs. Eliphaz, okay? That is their God, right? Gold, oil, and drugs. And that's what they're always going over there to do when they get into these wars. And they're constantly in war, right? It says, in fact, Nixon had adopted two strategies, whereas one side, he was employing aggressive strategies in order to try appease North Vietnam, and the other, and so a lot of people that went to Vietnam, they ended up coming back on heroin, okay? Leading into the crack era, which you see a lot of people bugged out from those eras, okay? Appeased the protests in the U.S. by demonstrating through the press and news that he was aiming to achieve a peace agreement and bring home the American troops. When the truth about Nixon's Vietnamization was revealed, many started to question up to which point was the CIA immersed in the publicizing of the news and information. So again, what were they doing? They were painting these Vietnam as this evil, wicked place. Meanwhile, they were just over there to take what they had. Okay? It says, so I'm going to skip down a little bit. You guys get the point. Again, this is Esau Edom at his finest. I want to see if it has anything more recent. Okay. So I just want to play a little bit of this video, and then I'm going to go to some scriptures, okay? So let's see. Yeah, let's play a little bit of this video. I'm going to play like probably a minute or two, and I'll go to some scriptures.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about trouble and trying to be responsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first. lost. Unfortunately, some members of the use their platforms to push their own personal lives and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous.
Who are working for television networks. This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole News and Public Affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them. We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
Senator, do you think that you named the news organizations in your final report? That remains to be decided. I think it was entirely in order for our correspondents at that time to make use of CIA agent chiefs of station and other members of the executive staff of CIA as sources of information which were useful in their assessments of world conditions.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
So again, the things that they're trying to hide, they said they got to be more circumspect about hiding it from the public. But again, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai reveals its secrets to the prophets to be able to give our people warning about what these devils are actually doing. So this is another article. Let me get a couple scriptures just to back that up. Because what did he say? He said they got to be more circumspect, because otherwise the American people are going to get a certain opinion about it, okay? Psalms 58:2. Yeah, in their heart you work wickedness, you weigh the violence of your hands on the earth. Yeah, so you spreading out violence, whatever that they push. If they're pushing an agenda to go to a certain country, they're going to push them as extremists. The same thing that they're going to do to the prophets. Okay, they're going to push us as extremists. That's why it's very important to not be, to carry around integrity, not to be, carnal, but to be wise and be circumspect, like he just said, okay? And be in this truth, be in this word, because in this word is where you have refuge and shelter. But outside of this world, it says, love not the world or the things in it, because if you're in this world, you're going to get caught up. Be transformed, be renewed in your mind, so you don't get caught up, right? Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from, so those, and what I was saying by that is these camps out there that are carrying around these sticks and things like that, they're going to be exposed, okay? They're going to be exposed at their camps because they're going to paint it as a picture that these people are violent, okay? When we're supposed to just be preaching the word and trusting Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? So Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So again, in about the 1300s, the mid 1300s, after that deadly wound they were back healed. And what did they start doing? Covering the faces of the judges thereof. Okay, iconoclasm. Putting their images, their pale-faced baby images, crossing out our Lord Yahushua, which is a so-called black man. Okay, and they put their image as a so-called white man. So Psalms 58:4. Their poison is like poison of a serpent. They are like a deaf adder that stoppeth at ear. So, yeah, they're constantly, speaking. Every time they're speaking venom. Okay, through their legislation, through their propaganda. Okay, through their democracy. Because you have the Democrat and the Republican of this day, but it goes back to the plebeian and patrician, showing you that this is Rome 2.0 again. Okay, and whatever that they push is always death. Okay, for instance, they had the man on man, woman on woman. They started when Barack Obama was in office. They had them start getting married. Okay, and what is that pushing for? Death, because it says be fruitful and multiply. How are you gonna multiply? When you both have the same, the same parts. Okay, but they're even trying to do that too with the lying wonders. Okay. It says, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. So they won't hearken to the prophets, because again, they are against the prophets, right? They are the adversary to Yahweh and Yahushua. So they're going to be adversary to the prophets. Okay, that's why everything they push is death. Let me get another scripture. And this is what they were meant to do. Genesis 27:40 said they will have the fatness of the earth and they will have a great sword. Right? Esau, Edom, self-proclaimed white man. Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse, right? That power, right? Horse symbolizes power. That was red, right? Idumea, which are the Edomites, right? Because of that mark from Cain, killing his brother Abel, he was marked with what? Leprosy. Okay? And power was given to him that sat therein to take peace from the earth, right? And that's what they do with these programs. Operation Mockingbird. That's a program to be able to take death from the earth, or take peace from the earth. Okay, and that should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So again, that great sword starts of course with their physical sword, with their military. But also they use this TV to put images of people, portraying them as certain people, slandering thy brother. Isaiah, Psalms 50 and about 20. Okay? Let me just get it. Psalms 50 and 20. They sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son. So that's what Esau, Edom does. Because again, those two nations were in the womb. Esau, which was a vessel to dishonor, and then you have Jacob, which is a vessel to honor. Okay? And what does he do? He slanders thy own mother's son constantly through his media, through his television. Okay? And through their media, let me get a couple definitions. Yeah, so this goes back to television. Yeah, so television, it says, I just want to get one part out of here. Yeah, right here, it says broadcasting visual images of stationary or moving objects. Television is a medium. So again, that medium is the elites, and then they use the television to control the masses of people. Okay, which is witchcraft and sorcery, right? Real quick. So this is a medium. It says an agency or means by doing something. So what are they trying to do? Push forth their agenda, whatever that it may be. A couple years ago, they put they put that Beetlejuice all on the television everywhere, and everybody started be fear-mongered. It says the intervening substance through which impressions are conveyed to senses or force acts or objects at a distance. So again, when just a regular old lady or whatever, older person, whatever, they're just watching ABC and Fox News. They're not watching and CNN. They're not watching all these other channels, but these other channels are being controlled, pushing forth witchcraft, controlling the mind, because you're seeing the same thing over and over again. There was a saying that if they didn't watch the TV, then everything would be all right. Okay. So I just want to get that. Yeah, so let's see. All right, that's it for that. And they use these think tanks, to see. To do this. It says think tank, a body of experts providing advice and ideas on specific political or economic problems. So again, what is one of their problems? They want everyone linked into this charagma. And how do they use it? They'll use celebrities. They'll use these cultic personalities. Let me just get... A cult of personality. A cult leader is the result of an effort made by the government and create an idealized, heroic image of a leader, often through unquestioning flattery and praise. So they'll have a guy like Trump, and people will start to like Trump, make America great again. Then you have Butthead, you have him, Build Back Better. They'll create, you have Clinton, you have Barack Obama, and then you have these celebrities. And what they'll do is they'll have them, basically, these guys are idols. Okay, these are idols, which is witchcraft, and they're able to push forth the agenda. It says a cult of personality or a personality cult arises when a country's leader uses mass media to create a larger-than-life public image through unquestioning flattery and praise. And that's what they're doing over there, as far as Ukraine. That guy Zelensky. They're making him like some heroic hero when he's just a nobody. Okay, but they're able to push forth the agenda. That's why you got people over there you have Babylon the Great sending $13 billion over there. Plus you have other people that want to go fight over there and all these different things. It's creating, what is it doing? It's creating a smoke screen where people are not paying attention to what they're actually trying to do, which is the charagma, which is the graven image in your forehead or in your hand, which is physical. Okay, sir. It's similar to like they did with the animals, a branding of the animals, but it's on the inside of you. Okay, enchantment, a feeling or great pleasure, delight. So again, magic, witchcraft. It says a practice of magic, especially black magic. Yes, spells. They're putting spells on the people. That's what the music industry does with the hip hop industry. You have the certain beats that have that vibration. They're able to put you, and then what are they saying? Kill, kill, kill. Do drugs, fucking another man's wife, all these different types of things. And what does that do? It has the younger generation, if they're not guided right, to fall into these traps, these spells. Okay, and to temptation, a desire to do something, especially something wrong or unwise. So when you had this thing come out, what did people do? They ran straight to the the places to be able to get checked. Okay, and what do? They end up falling for the beast. Those that don't have the stability. Okay, those are not how and Yahawashi are not dealing with. Okay, traction. And then you have people being proud. Oh, I got the 4th jump shot. They're happy. Okay, and again, these are all spells. They're charms from what? That venomous snake. And this is another thing they do. Fear mongering. It says the action of deliberately arousing public fear or alarm about a particular issue. Now, what did they do? They promoted a public fear. Okay? And now what are they doing? They're promoting another public fear by World War III, the third woe. Now, we know that's going to happen, but what are they doing? They're using it to push forth their agenda. Okay? And again, this is what they're doing. Psalm 64 and 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? So again, the snare is what? A trap. And it said, who shall see them? The prophets of the Lord, the servants of Yahweh Bashim Shai are seeing you, and that's why you're being exposed right now, and by men that are in a like-minded doctrine, that are exposing Esau Edom for his wickedness. Psalm 64 and 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, but their inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Yeah, so their ways are what? Cunning. Okay, because they use these think tanks like I brought out. They push forth their fear-mongering through their television. Okay, they bring out these cultic personalities. They make a diligent search because they keep doing the same thing over and over again. Okay? And that's insanity. Insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over again, expecting different results. Because ultimately, what do they want to do? They want to get cardinal. That's their blessing. Okay, that great sword that I brought out in Revelation 6 and 4. Right? And so I want to read this in the NLT. It says, as they plot, Psalm 64 and 6, as they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. Yeah, so they think that they're doing, they think they're going to be able to, knock this off. But we know that Psalms 33 and 10, they're, the heathen are going to be to naught. All their plans, their new world order, it's going to all go to naught. And at their fullness, they shall be in straits, right? So I want to skip down to 8, Psalm 64 and 8. They shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So again, their tongues falling upon themselves. You had the guy, he was a government official, and he's basically speaking. And then you had the news person, and they were saying, why are you over there? And, where's the evidence that Russia was plotting or something like that? And they didn't have the evidence. Okay. And he kept going over and over again. Right. And then he didn't know what to say. Then you have Joe Butthead. He'll say little things, but you have to catch him. I remember he said, we're going to be able to give them what they want, whether it's 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 months, showing you Revelation 13 and 18. Okay, that's why you always have to stand upon your watch and pay attention what's going on. Because these devils are always exposing themselves. Yahweh Shema Shai is showing signs that he's here. And they're doing a diligent search, And those that don't have that edge are going to get taken out. Those that don't have that stability, let me just get it real quick. Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And what is that wisdom? The wisdom to be able to see what this devil is doing, is cooking up. The knowledge of the scriptures, right? To have that vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish, roughly paraphrasing. Shall be the stability of thy times. What times are we in? We're in the latter times. We're in a time of war, right? We're supposed to be spiritually fighting, but this is going to turn out to be physical because there's going to be sedition amongst people. Okay, there's going to be a famine. There's going to be a pestilence. Okay, there's going to be evils. There's going to be a great miseries. Okay, and it says, in strength of salvation, the fear of Adonai Yahweh is his treasure. So those that fear Yahweh Bashim Shai, that are doing the work, right, are going to be able to be saved in that time. And that has to be your belief. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. You have to believe that he is, right? That's what Yahweh means. He is a rewarder that diligently seek him, roughly paraphrasing. And what's that reward? Salvation. To be able to be saved out of this hellhole, which hell is a condition. Okay, we can be able to be saved in the chariots. Lord willing, we are those men. Okay, the servants of Yahweh Shema Shai. Those that stand stiffly for this word, right? Those that are not going down to Esau Edom and asking for help, because this devil will never help you. Let me just get real quick scripture. Yeah, Psalms 118 and 8. It is better to trust in Adonai Yahweh than to put confidence in a man. It is better to trust in Adonai Yahweh than to put confidence in princes. All nations could pass me about, but in the name of Yahweh, I will destroy them. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. So why wouldn't you want to be on the side of Yahweh Ba'ashem Hashai, which is the right side? Okay? And it says, Sirach 12:10, never trust that enemy. Okay? So I want to get a little bit of this article. This is just... Actually, let me get... I had some pictures, because this is actually their plot. It says... So this is the Bilderberg meetings that they have. It says here from 1981, the book of Bilderberg, Jacques Attali, example of elite's mindset. It says, the future will be about finding a way to reduce the population. Of course, we will not be able to execute people or build camps. Okay? We get rid of them by making them believe it is for their own good. We will find or cause or something, or that thing that they had a couple of years ago, targeting certain people, a real economic crisis or not. You see what it says, right? Affecting the old or elderly, it doesn't matter. The weak and fearful will succumb to it. The stupid will believe it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care of having panned for the treatment, a treatment that, it says, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots, therefore, will be done by itself. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. So again, these are their think tanks. These are the things that they do. Micah 2:1, to advise iniquity upon their beds. Okay, these are the ones that are doing this. These Bilderberg meetings, these are the elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, the Soros, the real elites. Okay, the ones that have these puppets, these cult of personalities in front of you, like Bezos and Elon Musk. These are nothing but welfare cases compared to how much the elites are actually making. And this is what they want to do. And that's one of the books that he wrote verbatim. Okay. So real quick, this is it says stage events. It says order out of chaos, and from the Latin, order ab chaos. And this is what they're doing. Okay, they create a problem and then they come in with a solution. And what did he say right there? He says the stupid will believe in it. Okay, and as you already see, they already believed in it. Look at these are who bought what media. So again, look at all these people that are right here. Okay, you see any Jakes? No. Jeff Bezos at the top, he bought Washington Post, the Boston Globe. Okay, now people don't really do newspapers anymore, but the thing is that they got them. Okay, they're getting the simple-minded that still pick up the paper and they believe every word in those papers. The Boston Globe, Las Vegas Review, the Atlantic, Los Angeles Times, okay, the Time Magazine, okay. This is Robert Murdoch. What does he own? And it says these are the six corporations controlled 90% of all media outlets in America. The illusion of choice and objectivity. Yeah, so you act like you got a choice, but really it's all owned by the same people. So look at, you have Fox. They're all the Fox shows or the Fox channels. Okay, it's owned by Robert Murdoch. This is how much he makes: $22.3 million, and that's annually. So one time a year, he makes $22 million. Meanwhile, people are homeless. You got these. You got Skid Row. You got all these different places where people are crying out and sighing for all the abominations, but only the men of the Lord are going to be able to have that salvation. A lot of people are going to have to be destroyed. Okay, this guy, he makes $32.5 million annually. Okay, and these are all the companies that he owns. CNN. Okay, we know that's all controlled opposition. The WB, the CW, Mad TV. So they're able to push forth all their agendas. So you might see something, a documentary where you say, oh, they're exposing something. But no, they're not. They're controlled by these people. And you see what they are. They're small hats, okay? Look up some of these guys' names. Jeff Bezos. Okay, you got this Bob Iger. He controls Disney. And we know Disney's nothing but complete wickedness and enchantments, okay? They control ESPN. So people like Stephen A. Smith, when he be calling out people, talking about they didn't do something, these guys are all set up. A&E, and what do they do on these channels? They got a show called First 48, where they have Jake murdering each other in the first 48 hours, or, where they try to find him in the first 48 hours, pushing forth murder all through the TV. Okay. And they don't look at this guy. He makes $44.9 million a year. He doesn't give back nothing. And if he does, it's because they actually have an underhanded agenda. Look at this guy, Summer Redstone, $4.6 billion. Look at what he owns. Paramount. So all the movies, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, they might have a little bit of wisdom, but it's catfish wisdom. Okay, it's not of Yahweh Shemir Rashai, right? CBS, BET, and you see what they did to BET. BET doesn't even have music anymore. BET, you know what I mean? Even though black means void of light, okay, but it was at one point they would have, they have the fake gospel, and it was wicked, but at least they had some kind of form of music, right? They even took out that, okay? Nickelodeon, and what do a lot of those cartoons have? They have a lot of man-on-man, woman-on-woman Transformers, okay? So, yeah, this is just saying all the things that they own. Yeah, it's owned by these corporations. Yeah, I want to get this one. So it says the illuminated. So Illuminati is actually, they're just illuminated on the left-hand side, okay? So that's some of the things that they own. So let's go back to this article. Okay, that's that's the original BG, right? I just want to get a couple of things out of this. It says yeah, so basically it's speaking about their philanthropy that they do, as far as they helping people. They act like they're helping somebody, but really they have an underhanded agenda. It says, recently examined nearly 20,000 charitable grants the Gates Foundation had made through the end of June, found more than $250 million going towards journalism receipts, including news operations like BBC, NBC, Al Jazeera, okay, National Journal, The Guardian, okay, Financial, The Atlantic, Texas Tribune. Why would they do this? Because they want to control the narrative. Okay, you control the narrative, you're controlling the people, and you can be able to push out whatever agenda that you want. And they're going to start coming against the men of the Lord. There's going to be a great insurrection against the men of the Lord that believe in him. Okay, well, that means we're going to be tried. That's why we're going to stay close to Yahweh Shema Shai and stay in the truth, right? And we will be in that secret place. So I want to get, so Bill Gates is working with the Rockefellers. It's said in here. I got, Con right there. So it says Daily Caller News Foundation that support his conservative politics, and the Rockefeller Foundation funds Vox's Future Perfect reporting. So, and we know Bill Gates is related to the Rockefellers. Okay. So all these are the people, these are the elites, right? And Bill Gates is just a puppet from them. So let's get this right here. Psalms 10:5. His ways are always grievous, and his judgments are far above out of sight. As for his enemies, he puff at them. Yeah, so who does he puff at? The prophets, right? By pushing forth all his abominations. Okay? He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Yeah, so he thinks that he will never have to face consequences and judgments, but he's wrong. Okay? It says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Yeah, so he's constantly pushing forth abominations. That's why this is called the whore of filthy abominations. Okay? Because of all the things that it pushed forth, it all pushes forth death. Okay? And what did he do if you don't? What did he say? If you don't take that thing that happened a couple years ago, then your livelihood's gonna be taken away. Okay, and that's the same thing that he's gonna say when the Karagman comes out. He's gonna say, hey, if you don't have this, you can't. And it says you won't be able to buy or sell. Okay, It says 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, and the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, and the poor are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? And when he sits in those lurking places, what is he doing? He's sitting, watching you on camera. Watching you on camera, watching what you're doing, watching you what you're on your phone. Why do you think they came out with the transcript? They're watching what you say on every single line so they can be able to hold a case against you. That's why you got to be stay in the scriptures when you're speaking. And he's sitting in the lurking places. Yeah, he's constantly watching you on these cameras to see what people are doing. Because again, that's what a vagabond fugitive does, right? A vagabond means running to and fro, and he's a fugitive running from the killing of his brother Abel. Okay, and that's what he does, and he tries to push. If somebody comes at him, what does he do? He points the finger at them and says, "No, they did this," and if he'll try to find some way to set him up. Psalms 10 and 9. He lieth wait in a secret as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him in his net. So a perfect example is they'll have the FBI or the CIA. They'll be in the ghetto. They'll put the drugs in the ghetto. Okay, they'll put they'll take away all the trees. Okay, they'll put GMO foods on the corner in the liquor stores, right? Okay, and then what they'll do is they'll sit down with their camera, watching, right? And then they'll catch the people, put them in the prison cells, or catch them, put them in the prison cells. If you don't have any money, if you don't pay the lawyer, okay, they're making money off the court system. They're making money off you being in prison. They're making money again off the drugs because they just resell it again. Okay, and that's what they do. They're like a lion. They're waiting to pounce on their prey. And what is their prey? The Hebrew Israelites, right? So-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. Okay, going into so I had a bunch more scriptures. I want to get this one right here. Job 24 and 14. The murderer rising with the light. Wait, let's see. Yeah, let me get 13. Job 24 and 13. They are of those that rebel against the light, that know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. Yeah, they're wicked. They're in darkness, okay? They are on the left-hand side. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and the needy, and the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer, waiting for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face, right? In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves. In the daytime they know not the light. Yeah, that's constantly what they're doing. Infiltrating people with their television. Okay, for the morning, yeah, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death, and that's what this place is known as, Babylon the Great, the valley of shadow of death, which sits in a low place. And the vibration of Babylon the Great is all around the four corners of the earth, because that's why it says prophesy against Mount Seir. That's wherever Edom pitches his tent. For the morning, let me read this in the NLT. It says, the black night is their morning. They ally themselves with the terrors of darkness. Woo! Yep. So let me read this in the 17 again. For the morning is to them as even as the shadow of death, if one of them are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Yeah, so again, that's Job. And Job speaks about that again in Job 10 and 21. Job 10 and 21, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and the shadow of death without any order, where the light is as darkness. So again, that's what happens. There's no order here. So darkness goes back to confusion. You have people confusion. Why? Because of the things that they're doing. Let's get this, Micah 2 and 1. Micah 2 and 1. Woe, which means destruction, unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. So again, they're practicing them in these Bilderberg meetings, these Bohemian Grove meetings, these think tanks. Okay, and when they go to the these government officials, right, what do? They pass legislations that they prescribe unrighteous decrees, and then they put them on the masses of people, and mass goes back to death. Okay, because again, these people have no way out. They're just trusting in the government. But the men of the Lord have Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, have Yahushai as that comforter. Okay.